Hello, and welcome back to another episode of 100 Coming of Age Films in 100 Days. And today we'll be going through these 5 films. And the first one this week, Linda 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 by Nobuhiro Yamashita. Life can be tense and directionless for a teenage girl in a band, but it can also be the most memorable thing you would do with your friends for the rest of your life. Just like how the girls in this film try different ways to practice and perfect their song, this film is similar to that, where it feels like a roller coaster of emotions, experiences, and rhythms. On a less technical note, I adore how this film makes you want to go to sleep because the girls are always sleeping, especially the visions and the thoughts from the singer who dreams to be noticed and to do well in their performance. The framing and the timing of different scenes give off a lot of expressions and messages that you don't necessarily see, but you feel and you hear it. Overall, I think this film is really cute. The characters are quirky and funny naturally because of how awkward some situations can get. It's a very wholesome film and I really enjoyed it. And the second one this week, Go by Isao Yukisada. This film has so much energy. It's a high-octane rush of a character wanting to be accepted as who he is by the people he loves, that his choices are his and his only. I enjoyed this film for how unpredictable and brave it is, for exploring different styles and putting them on screen as uniquely as they can. I felt that life took over as the writer and made the protagonist go wild. I would describe it as eccentric, and the reason for it is as unique as the protagonist's personality, where he is molded by an education system different from the ones around him, striving to find a place in his new world while rebelliously leaving the one from the past. The ending of this film is like having many thoughts, but at the end it concluded everything into one whole feeling that doesn't need any more explanation. And the third film this week, Time of Maturity by Sohrab Shahid Sales. This film was just brutal towards the protagonist. It's done so simply yet effective. It uses the lack of dialogue and everyday sounds of a bustling city where everyone is fighting their own little battles. It's cold and heartless for the young boy, where the adults pay no respect nor sympathy for him. There are more frowns than there are smiles, which makes every day feel like carrying a heavy weight of despair. This film shows us that kindness is a privilege. Albeit it costs us nothing, it can also be a rare commodity for some. That is why the protagonist, who is the young boy, goes out the way to seek the simple things in life just to feel some sense of joy, because the people around him are impudent and indifferent towards his struggles despite knowing what is happening. The saddest part is that the struggle is silent and no one is there to help him, and the pain will quietly go on. And the fourth film this week, Rushmore by Wes Anderson. This film has shown me how a movie can be serious while being whimsical. It's like watching a film for kids but heavily driven by a story that shouldn't be seen by them. I'm fascinated by how all the characters were written and how they interact with each other. There's a sort of chemistry that binds really well even when they strongly repel each other. It makes it so fun to watch when the characters act on something that's motivated by emotions unnecessarily and causes a domino effect of events. And from that, you just want to see how far the characters would take things. The cinematography was well framed, some like a painting and some conventional, but all effective at telling a story through visuals. And the fifth film this week, Yang by Yu-chieh. This film might not land for a number of people, reason being the very light and shaky handheld shots that could be off-putting for most. It's very unconventional, as well as the unengaging storyline. That's how I felt for most of the film. However, there were parts I did like when I started to dissect it. One of them being the protagonist making choices that are considered rash and reckless, but does it for reasons that make sense. From the surface, the protagonist seems like a conniving person, but deep down seeks comfort from a certain figure who accepts her for who she is. The only big problem I have about this film is the use of tight lenses and the lack of dynamic shots, because most of the shots are quite close to the character's face, which works in certain circumstances, but not all of them. And that is 5 films this week. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down your thoughts. And I'll see you next week. Bye!